That usually leads to not like the women at the office understand me. And pretty soon the women at the office start looking better and better, and your family looks worse and worse, and before you know it, boom, you've lost everything.
I can't have a temple recommend.
It is officially, finally true that the Mormon Church could tell every member in the world to completely stop paying tithing now and forever, and it could continue to fund every current program in full without drawing down on the reserves. In other words, Ensign Peak Advisors would continue to grow.
We pay tithing, as the Savior taught, by bringing the tithes into the storehouse. We do this by paying our tithing to our bishop or branch president. We do not pay tithing by contributing to our favorite charities. The contributions we should make to charities come from our own funds, not from the tithes we are commanded to pay to the storehouse of the Lord.
Let me address two things. We have four overarching responsibilities. The mission of the church is to help people learn about and live the teachings of Jesus Christ, to share that message with the world, to strengthen and unite families, and to care for the poor and the needy.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, as today is the expected day of Chief Judge Shelby's ruling on the lawsuit against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for tithing, we'll stick to that theme today, even though I do need to cover the Jewish calendar for March that I teased you with in this morning's video of Epstein, because there's some bombshells coming up for March. And if it, I really don't want to commit I have waited so long, and it keeps getting extended because of Nelson's failures. But this month, oh my God, if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna cry again. There are some bombshells. You will not get any information like this from any other source. There are bombshells exclusive for those of you who follow my channel. Just, unbelievable. The Jews knew. They knew. And then Constantine came and destroyed their knowledge. But they knew. It's awesome. So it's coming up. And so we got to stick with tithing. In 1887, the Edmunds-Tucker Act was completed, finished, and done. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was destroyed upon the face of the earth, ceasing to exist. Now, Mormons don't know about this because the church lied to them. Made Mormons believe the church was still intact. The Edmunds-Tucker Act, signed into law, destroyed the church, shut it all down. Now, the church would have you believe that it was over polygamy, denying religious freedom. No, no, no. Nope. It was the Wild West. The United States didn't give a damn about the Wild West. They let people have their brothels and their shootouts and all that stuff. No, this was about the terrorism of Brigham Young. This was about the criminal operations of Brigham Young. His secret combinations, forming an insurrection and a coup against the United States, that the United States shut down. His perpetual immigration fund was a slave trading, sex slave trading even, for both adults and children, that was shut down as part of this. And of course the funding for it involved tithing from Section 119. But because Brigham Young put in Section 119 before he implemented it in his 1844 Doctrine and Covenants upon the grave of Joseph Smith, claiming that it was by Joseph Smith, the United States let Brigham keep that section in the Doctrine and Covenants. But since they're dissolved, ceasing to exist, they thought they were through with them. But John Taylor's new revelations on polygamy were denied and had to be taken out of the Doctrine and Covenants. The church will tell you that they don't exist. There's no such revelations. the FLDS Church will tell you all about them and read them to you, and you can obtain them for free online. Have them in your possession. But nonetheless, with tithing, this was used in conjunction with the debt that the Mormons had to pay back. And so not only did they have to pay tithing to Brigham Young for priestcraft, Mormons were also required to pay off the debt of the Perpetual Immigration Fund for their human trafficking. And if you're unfamiliar with this, we have this in the state of Utah, not just throughout the United States. If you remember a couple years back, there was an incident involving a Catholic who frequented out of the state, I think, at least out of the city, to a massage parlor run exclusively by Asian women who had been trafficked to America and additionally trafficked to get other family members to America. And they had to work in this massage parlor to pay off their debt, which is a lifetime thing, especially when you have additional family members to bring over, because they don't want to lose their source of free income. And so he went there as a Catholic, because you're not allowed to have sex as a Catholic either, just like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And he thought that if they gave him a happy ending and he didn't, that therefore it was okay. So it was now turning into a sex shop, sex trafficking, to pay off the debt of being sent to America. And for some reason, he got Catholic guilt and believed that it was a sin to have somebody else do it for you also. He wasn't getting them pregnant, so there was no need for an abortion, no need for contraception, which are forbidden in the Catholic Church too. We can compare all the sex crimes with both the church and the Catholic Church. Oh dear God, Nightmare City. But he decided that it was a sin. And so, for some stupid reason, he got it into his head that the only way to keep him from committing sin anymore was to go and murder everybody at the massage parlor. The women who are in bondage, being held hostage, being forced to do happy endings to pay off their debt that they never will, for themselves and for other family members. Innocent victims are on the front line of him going and just shooting up the whole place. And the deep state Dems were just the dumbest people in the news, as they were trying to claim it was Asian hate. That was somehow a hate crime, rather than locking up the owners of the massage parlor for their sex trafficking. But this is what the Perpetual Immigration Fund was. Exactly like it. Mormons had to not have sex. They had to pay their tithing and get married in the temple until they can have sex. And it has to be with a Mormon girl, nobody else. And so when You have all of the women taken up by the priesthood leaders. There's no women left for the faithful elders. So the elders were complaining. The church said, go out on your mission, get your wives. But your guys, the Danites, are already doing that. So there's still more women out there, go get them. And so you've got men who don't have women. And then you have Brigham Young, whose women are now upset with him. And since they can't have him sleep on the couch or in the doghouse, they divorce him. You know, who's afraid of Virginia Woolf? Not Brigham's wives. Brigham's afraid of Virginia Woolf. She was the 13th wife, I believe. And so he needed comfort during his time of separation. And so he created his own happy ending massage parlor on Regent Street. And of course the women there are the women who were unfaithful, because women were not allowed to own property in the United States. They had to be owned by a man in order to take care of them in the sex trafficking that was the societal norm thanks to the Brits. And so women who were unworthy were then put to work in the brothels so that they can have an existence. That's the way it was. But Brigham Young first rewarded Orrin Porter Rockwell with his brothel out at the point of the mountain. And I just bust up laughing every time I hear the news or a commercial talking about the hotel. Oh, Mormons. So faith promoting. So naive that you are still being prostituted to this very day through tithing. Because since Brigham Young was the owner of it, and the owners were also a Mormon, guess who also received the money from prostitution? Not just from the husbands. And so yes, this is something women don't like to talk about. They don't want to admit. They get angry at the wrong people. The church is responsible. The church is doing this. You need to understand that everything the church does because of tithing from section 119 is criminal. Not a smooth criminal with a cool music video of Michael Jackson. Criminal. Not Sade and her sexual fantasies of a smooth operator. Criminal. Although that, I think she's talking about coast to coast from LA to Chicago. Love for she is, yeah, okay, the criminal. It's been a while since I heard that. Should I do smooth operator for the theme song in the description below? I did Sex Dwarf for the Epstein video. Although that's not where I should have put it. It's the wrong paper. And so with the tithing, yeah, it makes polygamy worse. because now it's sex trafficking and prostitution of multiple wives for one man. Because the women were taken from out of the country, even out of the state. As the War of Brigham Young commenced in retaliation of the United States, taking his land, his kingdom. And so, yeah, the church wants it back. And that's why they're doing what they're doing to overthrow the government. And so, in this lawsuit, the church, fraudulently claiming to be a church, fraudulently claiming to be a legitimate corporation, as Nelson changed the name of the church in 2019 to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, from the corporation of the presiding bishop, which I'm still missing that article of incorporation for that change. It was between 2014 and 2019, because in 2014, Monson added some extra stuff to the articles of incorporation for the corporation of the president that was incorporated by Heber J. Grant in 1923, as it was illegal in its incorporation because it says that it's a corporation for the religion, but the religion ceased to exist since 1887. And therefore, what are you a corporation of if there is no religion? It's a fraud of the government. So thus, Heber J. Grant incorporated a criminal operation under the color of law with the filing of government articles of incorporation. And so we jump into the future, back to the future, in which there are a number of people suing the church over tithing. The whistleblower just exposed this church bigly and laid it all out on the line. And Nelson's reply to the whistleblower was, yeah, so deal with it. We do this with every single source of revenue. The church has multiple sources of revenue, not just tithing. The giving machines, for example, that fund terrorism. Yep, that's a separate source of revenue. That revenue does not go to Ensign Peak Advisors. That's what the whistleblower was telling you. He only knows Ensign Peak Advisors for tithing. That's it. That's as far as it goes. And so he was telling about that. And so everything else is a donation. As I've got Oakes' own word, who was a former prosecutor and a former Utah Supreme Court justice, saying tithing is not a donation. And yet, Oakes, hello, somebody needs their bar card examined, their license revoked, all of your decisions reevaluated. Yep, this is a huge exposure of this church that has lawyers as apostles. They know damn well tithing is not a donation because they tell us it's not. Even Bednar knows, and he's not a lawyer, right? What did Bednar do for his life existence? Was he a seminary teacher? A glorified seminary teacher. Life and career. Born in Oakland, just like me. He has the wrong name, though. He's supposed to be the son of David, not David. Wrong name, right, Brian David Mitchell? Dumbass. You can't name yourself another name to be the guy. Dumbass. To Lavina Whitney Bednar and Anthony George Bednar. So his father's name is Lavina and his mother's name is Anthony. Interesting. His mother, notice how the wife was put first. That's, you need to understand Romans chapter 16 in order to understand this, what I just said. And the Catholic Church has had a problem with it ever since. His mother came from a long line of Latter-day Saints, but his father did not, and that's why the switching of the sexes. Did you see that? Because she's faithful, he's not. Did not join the church until Bednar was in his late 20s. He served as a full-time missionary to southern Germany, see Kyle, and then attended Brigham Young University, see Kyle, where he received a glorified Bachelor of Arts degree in communication in 1976, and a glorified Master's of Arts degree in organizational communication, and you still suck at it to this day with your little thing you did on yesterday's church news. Oh my hell, because that's what we're going over. Not in great detail. I should do another video for that in more detail. And then he went to Purdue and somehow managed to get a doctorate in organizational behavior. He's a psycho. He's the cause. You put Oaks on the drugs, didn't you? With tardive dyskinesia now. Bednar's to blame. Breaking news. Bednar drugged Oaks. Oh, that is hilarious. Oh my God. And this was in 1980 when he got that degree, which means he was not an apostle yet, obviously. But during the 80s, that was the homophobic 80s for the church, as they were still doing electroshock conversion therapy to those who claimed they were gay. And, oh man. And so, yes, I remember being tortured by my parents by orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as they had a special combined Relief Society priesthood meeting during the week, as my dad had to come home early from work that day and not stay late. And it's a 2-hour drive in Southern California, and so it's best to leave earlier than the rush hour and later than the rush hour coming home. That's one of the tricks that people use. Tricks are not for kids. I'm on one today. Hilarious. And so, yeah, my parents were told that all these different lists of sins cause homosexuality. And so my parents were on the watch for those sexual sins from my brother and I, not the sisters, because girls are innocent and pure and have no sexual desires whatsoever. It's always the men. Women can turn it off. Men are the ones who need to turn it off. And so, yeah, this was also the 80s when my dad burst into my bedroom in Corona with the Farrah Fawcett poster and said, "Doesn't she look pretty?" Shoving it in my face, and I'm scared. "Daddy, I'm scared." She's blonde, first of all. I wouldn't like blondes until 2005 after dating Kimberly. Also, I like redheads. And Jennifer Connelly from Labyrinth. I'm a kid, remember? Pick somebody my own age, Dad. But I'm still not going to tell you. I didn't even tell them about my first date with Cynthia Pullard to the prom, because I didn't want them knowing, because of the sexual abuse that the church causes Mormons to do to each other. But anyway, and so yeah, that's just fascinating. So the church was all anti-psycho too, using psychology only for a weapon against those who were gay. Otherwise, they were coming out and saying, stay away from self-help books and books that teach you how to have sex with any woman you desire, regardless of whether she's a devout religious person or married or a lesbian. You can have sex with them. Buy my book and find out today and enjoy the life you deserve. And then it would be shut down as some kind of sex prostituting trafficking thing. But nonetheless, I'm sure you can find them for free online somewhere. I think YouTube might have videos on it. They'll ban women for being women, but they won't ban sex crimes. Just sick and wrong. Leave women alone. They're cute and cuddly. And so, yeah, the church was anti-psychology. Other people need help, not us as followers of Jesus. Jesus is the answer for everything. And so, yeah, but then Rick's College from 97 to 2004. So, yeah, who was the presidents of Rick's College? List of, no, not Brigham Young University, Idaho. It wasn't Christensen. Stephen D. Benyon was the guy. Yeah, they don't have his picture. Why don't you have his picture? See here, he was born to educator Lowell L. Benyon and Merle Colton. And so, yeah, his mother's name is Lowell and his dad's name is Merle. Merle. Stephen D. Benyon. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Younger picture looks familiar. Not your older one. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he would come in to the indoor track to go running in the mornings. And I was dating Leanne at the time. And I didn't know him. He comes in, you know, he has, you know, some girls at his side, but he's there to go running. And he's not going around shaking hands or anything like that. He then sees me as I'm stretching off to the side. And waves and says hi. And I'm like, who? What? Me? You're not waving to anybody else. What are you doing? It's because of Leanne. The top brass knew me because of her. And so, yeah, if I had done the smart thing and married her, being a dumbass, my one and only regret in life. We would have gotten married on May 1st, the anniversary of the Illuminati, in the Salt Lake Temple. I'm willing to bet it was not going to be room number 13, though. And then we would have had our wedding supper feast at the Lion House, next to the Beehive House. Prophecies would have been fulfilled another way. But I'm concerned that maybe she would have gotten burned. You have to know my video content that I talk about religious matters. If you are not going to understand this, if you do not know your scriptures, you will not understand me. It is a prerequisite. So, anyway, just hilarious. Bednar drugged Oaks. Moral of the story. Hilarious. I was not expecting that. That was cool. Because he's not high enough yet for me to do a thorough research on, like Nelson and Oaks. Because there's too much projects I already have backed up here. Oh, that was precious. Hilarious. And Oaks isn't upset with you, huh? Maybe he is now, after the Strengthening Church Members Committee report this to you guys. Oh my God, hilarious. Okay, and so Bednar came out yesterday with a video, perfectly timed, the day before the expected ruling by Judge Shelby. You got to understand, the church has lots of lawsuits in the state of Utah. They know the timing of the federal judges. And for them to do it yesterday rather than previous weeks, although there was the other church news thing that came out also trying to show that the church, is necessary to give donations to all those poor people around the world. And then you got Holland, who came out on Sunday, who just blew it all wide open. Oops. In which he went down to those who got burned for paying their fire insurance tithing and said that we're not giving you any aid. Our hearts are with you, though. Sucks to be you. Thank you for your tithing. Hope you can still keep paying. Get a job. Just complete abuse. And so yes, everything they say is a fraud. Everything they say is a lie. They're con artists. They're stealing your money. They're claiming religion. They turned Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon Christian to steal your money, to profit off of you, to human and sex traffic you, both adults and children. And the United States shut it all down, and yet they're still going, frauding the United States government. And so the brilliant mind of Idaho Chick catches on to my little clips that I present for her. She figures out what I put in the videos. Other people, it goes right over their head as Mormons think that Section 119 is so true that they Section 119-splain to me about it and quote it in their comments. And don't have a clue what they just did. God, it's just unbelievable how stupid Mormons are. And it's good to have the few handful of followers who are intelligent, who do catch on, who do contribute. But unfortunately, it's not enough to make Zion. We're all doomed. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, God. And so, her first comment to that video that nobody wants to watch because they're all afraid of it. Mormon law of tithing, no LDS church integrity. You need to understand that integrity means you're honest. The church keeps repeating the lie that it's a donation. They put it in the article of Bednar. Tithing donation. You've combined it. The law of tithing donation. The forced, mandatory, required, must pay law of tithing donation. And Kimberly, she broke up with me, despite my still liking blondes to this day, nevertheless, over charity, the word. I was trying to tell her how smart I am to impress her. Nope, backfired. Always backfires when you try to impress a girl. Just don't even try, guys. Don't even try. They don't get it. No, they don't. It doesn't work. Backfires. By talking about how the Book of Mormon corrects the false translations of the Bible. And so I gave as one example, charity. Because there's 1 Corinthians 13, or is it 2 Corinthians 13? Charity is kind, and envy's not, and lets the woman be on top sometimes, and blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, I don't memorize it. Now, if you watch a Hollywood movie or a TV show, when there's the wedding scene, you hear that read. But it's not precisely as it stands in our New Testament as Mormons. They say love instead of charity. Why? Well, because in the Catholic Bible, they put the right word in. In the King James Version of the Bible, they didn't. It was mistranslated. And so the world gets it right, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints still to this day get it wrong, despite having the Book of Mormon. And as a result, our women in the church, even though they do separate it, the Miami mantra of cult seance spells, we are daughters of a heavenly Father who love us, and we love him, and we long to be raped by him and produce rape baby Jesus in similitude of rape baby mama Mary. Because Jesus and Heavenly Father are separate, physical, exalted beings of bodies of flesh and bone as tangible as man's. Take that, Christians. Heavenly Father did his own raping of Mary, not a dove. And took me off tangent. We're talking about tithing, but we ended up talking about raping. They're connected, but took me off topic because there's no script. I can't just look down and go, oh, that's where I left off. So I'll move on. Maybe it'll come back to me, and then you'll wonder, what are you talking about? Oh, right, because that was where you left off. Okay. And so they call it a donation. Tithing, remember? It's not a donation, it's a requirement. Sex crimes are involved. There's your connection. And so Idaho chick catches on. She says, I will be citing this new ruling. Yeah, hilarious. Whenever the church is in a courtroom, they call it a donation. Whenever they're talking to us at the pulpit of conference or with the bishops, because Nelson made sure to have that given to everyone. Because I'll quote him from his conference talk in October 2019 for the closing remarks, right before talking about the new temples. Tomorrow, these revised temple recommend questions will be distributed to church leaders throughout the world. He just declared crime at the pulpit of conference. Number 10. That's why my video clip that I've had ever since, I made that clip for that purpose. And Mormons are like, no, he has other things. You took this out of context. Here's the context. All requirements to enter the temple relate to personal holiness. To access that readiness, each person who wants to enjoy the blessings of the temple will have 2 interviews. First with a bishop, bishopric counselor, or bishop branch president. Second with a stake or mission president or one of his counselors. In these interviews, several questions will be asked. Some of those questions have recently been edited for clarity. I would like to review them for you now. Does that sound different than the clip I gave you? I don't manipulate the words of the living prophets of Jesus. They say it all themselves. Mormons never get this because they don't go to conference. They don't listen. They're on vacation smearing poop on the walls of the Capitol instead. And so number 10, they have them numbered for us. Are you a full tithe payer? This is for worthiness. This is criminal. This is what shut down the church as criminal. And the church refuses to obey the laws of the land. They're criminal. They're a criminal organization. Terrorist insurrectionists. Criminal. Mormons don't want to get it. All the others, okay, fine, religious stuff. Not tithing. You can't demand payment of tithing for a religion in order to be worthy. The Catholic Church did it with sale of indulgences, but yeah. Criminal. It did produce an excellent movie called Dogma. Jesus is a woman. Shh. Pretty hot woman. We have all these Mormon girls who've been telling me all these decades that they want to be married to Jesus's harem because they can trust Jesus to be a good boy. Oh my hell. Because nuns, they're all married to Jesus. You know, when they become a nun, that's part of the ceremony. They are sealed to Jesus for time and all eternity as a bride. Jesus is married in the Catholic Church. Every single woman who becomes a nun gets married and added to his harem. Oh, dear God. I mean, I don't even think I can guess as to the number of wives Jesus now has. And then you've got the church saying, yeah, well, Jesus was a polygamist. So was Adam, who was the one who raped Mary, his daughter, 14 years of age, and gave birth to rape baby Jesus. We got back on it again, didn't we? Only the FLDS church carries that tradition. This church says, no, you don't know nothing. No, we don't know nothing about that. Nope, we took it out of our Teachings of the Prophets manual for Brigham Young. purposely took it out of the quote. Oh my God, hilarious. I know those people who worked on those manuals. They also sucked with the revision of the footnotes. Oh my God. And so, yeah, Idaho Chick gets it. If it's mandatory and the law, it's criminal. If it's a donation, it's not mandatory. It needs to be removed from the list. Number 10 has to go if they're going to continue to claim it's a donation. It's a little late. They're already criminal. You know, it's like changing the name of the corporation to a religious name and claiming you're still a religion, the same one it's always been, which has been dissolved and illegal, fraudulent. But nonetheless, yeah, it does. Just like this church claiming Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon have to let it go. You obviously aren't following them, or you've got severe illiteracy problems. Is it because of the start of dyskinesia? Bednar drugged folks. Hilarious. Dr. Pinion, druggy for Jesus. Dr. Feelgood, that could even be. I'm putting it on the wrong thing. Get out of my way. Dr. Feelgood. I loved that song when it was on my mission. Came out while I was in Massapequa Park. I just purchased from Miyazaki a cassette player. I mean, Elder Miyazaki. Because it wasn't on my list to bring, and yet the missionary guide had cassette tapes for us, but no cassette player for us. How am I supposed to listen to them? Is it osmosis? Do I just attach it to my head and I just automatically learn what they're talking about? And then on our, they had cassettes that handed out to people so that we could trick them into joining the church about Together Forever, and that's how I played that over and over again until one day I went, he had sex with every woman in the office. He cheated on his wife. You can be together forever someday. We're bringing back the greatest hits. But yeah, the church has to get rid of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. They can't keep making money off of calling them Christian, when any literate person can read them and say, oh, Jewish, got it. Vincenzo di Francesca didn't burn the book because it was Jewish. That's why the Catholic apostles told him to burn the book, because it's causing an excitement among the Catholics, taking away parishioners from the other Catholics who are not getting donations. This is sensationalism. Stop it. folks just need to learn from the church. You have boundaries. You are in this ward boundary. You have to go to this ward. Even though you're right next door to your best friend and neighbor, you cannot go to the same ward. Dear God. But yeah, like she says, tithing must be removed. Dr. Feelgood. Priceless. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so I commented on her as I pinned it also, because it was a brilliant comment, brilliant observation, and commented about how, you know, if you know it's wrong, just leave. Something like that. But yeah, Mormons just don't get it. Too many Mormons stay in the church when they know it's wrong. Why are LGBTQIAPO+ still Mormon? Why are women still Mormon? Why are blacks still Mormon? Why are any other ethnic group other than white still Mormon? Why are the poor still Mormon? It makes no sense. Why people who know it's wrong somehow still cling to, well, maybe Jesus is real and that they are speaking with Jesus. No! No! Jewish! And it's not David, even though Oakland is his nativity, from Ezekiel 17, the parable of the eagle. Nonetheless, wrong guy. Bednar is not sun god. Who is Bednar? We're already in an hour. So if you're still listening, this is just... Because technically I think we're done. I don't think there's any more bombshells. Surname meaning Bednar. Cooper. Check. Cooper. So, a coopersmith shop, a barrel maker. Interesting. Yeah, that's not sun god, Bednar. Barrel maker is not sun god. Wrong name. Not him, guys. But yeah, I was doing the footnotes and making the connections for the branch. Had David gone to thought he was smart and clever because he was a glorified seminary teacher for 16 years. He talked about how the name is given as David. No, Emmanuel. Don't think you're smart on the scriptures. You're not. And it's not for homosexuality, you dumbass. They were destroyed for neglecting the poor. Ezekiel 16. And yes, Your daughter getting prostituted in that gorgeous dress that I didn't dare ask you for a copy of that photo. Is also whom Joseph Smith is talking about in the selections from the book of Moses, correcting the sons of God and the daughters of men. It's the daughters of the sons of God and the sons of men. He did not like that, and that was rejected as a result. It's right there in the scriptures, you dumbass. We were told only footnote to scriptures. Scriptures! So that no president of the church dares to get up in the pulpit of conference and utterly humiliate himself with his ignorance of scriptures and translation, exposing him as false. Oh my God. Every single one that I corrected, Nelson got up and botched it because it wasn't corrected. They rejected him. And Nelson is mad at me for it. I was trying to help him. I'm innocent and pure. Precious. Oh my God. Let's see what this second one has to do with. And Idaho Chick responds with, absolutely. Like you, many have ancestors that believed in Joseph and joined to follow the truth. Many of our ancestors died in following truth that got changed after Joseph's martyrdom. Hidden lies and frauds. It was actually the Danites were doing it before. It was a secret combination in Joseph's church. They got a number of guys busted for this because they were telling Mormons, oh yeah, Joseph is in charge of this. This is the new thing he's changed to. Yeah, keep it a secret because it's illegal. Don't tell Joseph. And a couple of them told Joseph. And Joseph excommunicated them. And then they were upset with Joseph. You're doing it. Why can't I do it? He's not doing it. You got lied to by the Danites. And still, this is the same way for Mormons. Still the same abuse, the same lies that they were doing behind Joseph's back to Mormons. They're still doing it to this day. They had the Book of Mormon. They had the 1835 Doctrine and Covenants. Mormons have the Book of Mormon. Mormons don't have the 1835 Doctrine and Covenants. But still, the Book of Mormon is sufficient to know this church is fraudulent if you just read it. And they won't. And so, the hidden lies and frauds throughout the next century of the church were not easily seen nor understood by the new illiterate saints. You need to put illiterate in there. As handwritten documents, true stories, and past and current lies come to light in this age, we have an opportunity to stand up and take back 10,000 fists in the air. The true religion that our ancestors first joined. No longer is our generation held captive to the darkness that was blinding our ancestors. So expect Idaho Chick to be excommunicated in the next couple of days. Sister Idaho Chick, I'd like you to come and talk with me, please. But you save money, you get 10% back. Doesn't that make you feel good? And you don't get to wear the underwear anymore. Well, this has been Precious and Few, but we got to move on.